Hey, folks, it's Dave here. An afternoon game as the snow starts to fall here in the Northeast, and I have tonight off. So I'm excited that I do not have to go to the rink tonight. And boy, I tell you, we just went out for lunch about 11:30. We drove a couple of miles down the road for lunch. Oh my! It was wall to wall cards. You couldn't move. And just trying to get in and out of the plazas were just a nightmare. It was just solid from, like I say, when I left my house to go to the main street, it was just solid for 2 or 3 miles down the road. And, I'm not in a big city, I'm in a small city, and still everyone was out today. And I remember last year we did the same thing. We went out to lunch at another place on that strip. And I remember sitting in there having lunch and I'm saying, holy cow, look at all the traffic. It's like, we ever going to get out of here? And so what do? We did the same thing today, except we went down a little further. And then we decided to go and get some last minute shopping done for the Christmas Eve party that she's having here with her family. And yeah, it wasn't a good idea. So we got home, I don't know, about 1 o'clock. It's like, that's it. I freeze. I ain't going out. I don't care. Unless one of us needs to go to the hospital, we ain't going out. Fun times. But anyway, I did a little "Twas the Night Before Christmas" poem. Some of you guys have already seen it. It's just something to kind of just I've always wanted to do something like that, and I finally did it and just kind of made it my own is what I did. I made it kind of a Dave Digital to Dice "Twas the Night Before Christmas." So I hope you enjoyed that. Anyway, on the table here, let's get overhead here. Here we go. So we are going to play some player of the game basketball from Downey. All right, let me see if I can snug this up here a little bit. Okay. How this plays, and this is the other game I played for the project last night. Okay. So, how this plays is you have a target score and a game score. That's what you're trying to do here. So, you have a game score for your team and a target score. I just said that, didn't I? What this basically means is it's going to break down how many rolls this team's going to get their total points. And from that, you break it down to how many individual rolls each player that played in the game is going to get. So that's kind of how it works. And I'll explain a little bit more. Then you factor in the defense of the other team plus the home court for both home and away. And that'll determine, again, how many points you subtract in your final points. And then you can get rebounds and assists, which I usually don't do, but because of the project, I needed to. So that's what it is. It's just a big dice roll. You don't need to know anything at all about basketball, which is what I really like about it. And so let me kind of show you what we're going to do here. So let me slide this up. So I'm going to be using the second part of this score sheet. Okay. So we have San Antonio at Virginia in this game. And this game was played on 11/26. So this was 11/26/75. Okay, so that's the project I'm playing here. And Philip, thank you so much. Yeah, I just had fun with that. I encourage everybody to do something like that and personalize it. It was just kind of fun doing that there. I had a good time with that. It just took me about 15, 20 minutes to jot down some lyrics to the poem and read it off. Okay, so let's get back here. So San Antonio Spurs. Again, my writing is bad, so I have to go slow. Antonio Spurs are the visitors, and then the home team on the other page here. The Virginia Squires, and I you know me, I love my crazy teams. Virginia Squires. Okay. Now, just so we're clear, I put the logos on here. You can see how they just kind of I just threw them on. But like I said, it's a PDF, so I put the logos on so I could enjoy them myself. So what I'm going to look at now for the teams is I set up San Antonio. So I've already gone online. Well, I have it on here. I'm going to see which guys in this list played in this game. I'm going to do an as played. If you want, you can roll the dice to see who plays in the game. You see how it's got this game score? So if I were to roll my percentage dice, all right, so I have a 21 on my percentage dice. Well, this guy's 100. He would automatically play, okay? Then I roll again, and I have 87, and, 96 or less, and this guy plays. So I would get out until I get 10 players. So let's just say that I rolled an 89 on this guy here, Tom Owens. Well, 88 unless he plays. So I rolled an 89, so he would not play in this situation. So you can roll the dice. You can do as played, or just put in whoever you want. That's the beauty of this game. There's 3 different ways to play it. Oh, thank you, Barbara. As Barbara comes by. Yeah, Christmas Carol. Yeah, I didn't. I've always wanted to read the Scrooge one, but that is so long. Seriously, it is a long one. So I was like, yeah, I couldn't do that. So I just did a quick 'Twas Your Night Before Christmas. So there's 3 different ways to set your lineups. I'm going to go by who actually played in the game. So I'm going to go to a different screen here. You guys can't see this, I don't think. And I'm going to start putting in the guys that played. So I always like to start at the top. So James Silas played. So we're going to go J. Silas. So he's my top guy. And his score is 4. And that's basically how many dice rolls he gets. Did George Gervin play? Yes, George Gervin played. So we're going to go George Gervin. And he had 5 on his score. Did Kennan play? Yes, Larry Kennan played, if that's how you say it. Kennan. And he's got 4. Did Billy Paltz play? Yeah. So B. Paltz played. And Paltz, he's got 4 as well. Did Olberding play? Yeah, he did. So actually, who are my top 5 here? Kennan, Kurt, Silas, Gervin, Paltz, Briscoe. Yeah, he played, but Olberding also played too. So I like to put them in order. Not that it matters, but I try to have them in descending order. So Mark Olberding with a 2. And then Alan Bristow. Bristow. Who needs Bristow? And he has a 2. Now I go to my reserves. Dietrich played. So we're going to go to Cobb Dietrich. C. Dietrich. He's got a 1. Did Henry Ward play? Yeah, Henry Ward played. H. Ward. And he has 1. And George Carl. Yep, George Carl played. Actually, they had 11, but I'm just going to take the top 10. All right, who got the least amount of points? Okay, Mike Gale played. He got 1 bucket, so I'm going to have to sit him out because I only have room for 10. They say to do 10. All right, so I got one more guy. Carl is a 1 as well. And who else played in here? Ken Smith. And he had more points and he played more minutes. The other guy only played 4. So we're going to go to Ken Smith. So those are my 10. And Ken Smith is a 1. So now my target score for San Antonio is 24. Okay. So their target score is going to be 24. But the new rule here is if I roll a 5 or less, I can bump it up 1 to 25. So it's like a good day, bad day type of thing of some of the games that we play. So 5 or less, yes. So they will bump that target score to 25. So what does that mean? That means all this has to add to 25. And if it doesn't, then we need to make adjustments. So let's add this up. So we have 4, 9, 13, 17, 19, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Oh, did we hit it right on? We might have. That doesn't usually happen. So let's try it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, 16, 25. So we hit it right on. So there's going to be no adjustments at all. So our adjustments are basically nil. So we just carry these over. So it's nice and easy. No adjustments. Now, if we had not rolled that dice here and we had to stick with 24, what we would do is we would subtract 1 roll from one of these guys here, and you would roll the dice. And so I rolled a 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So Paltz, he would be 4 minus 1 to give us 3, and 1 less would have given us the 24 if you follow that. So that's kind of how that works out. So now this gets a little tricky here for Virginia because they got a couple of guys that played in this game, and it's amazing how many players in the ABA actually played for different teams this year. It was crazy. So I got a couple of guys that I'm going to have to steal actually from Kentucky to make this game work. All right, so let me go back to my as played lineup. And so I'm going to go in the first guy here. Luther Ticky Burden. Did he? Yes, he played. So we're going to give Luther Ticky Burden on here. His game score is 4. Did Calvin play? No, Calvin did not play. But I have a Jan Van Breda-Kolf. So Jan, he's over here in Kentucky, and he's a 2. So I'm going to steal him from Kentucky. So we're going to go Jan Breda-Kolf. Van Breda-Kolf, something like that. Okay, close enough. And over here from Kentucky, he's got a 2. And again, I should put him a little further down, but we'll continue on. Does Green play? Did Mike Green play? Mike Green did not play. Did Willie Wise play? Yeah, Willie Wise played. So Willie Wise played, and he's got a 3. Mike Jackson. Gotta be going somewhere. Yeah, he played. All right, so Mike Jackson played. And Jackson is a 3. Did Mel Bennett play? Mel Bennett did not play. Fatty Taylor, yeah, he played. So Fatty Taylor, always love to have some Fatty Taylor on the table. He's a 2. As you can see, he's a 2. Did Twardzik play? Yes, Dave. Dave Twardzik played. Twardzik, if I spelled that right. And he's got a 2. Govan played, so G. Govan played. And there was another guy I had to borrow. Newman, Johnny Newman played. So Newman was over here as well. So Newman's a 3. So I got to steal him from Kentucky. So Johnny Newman is a 3. Govan's a 1. That's out of order, but that'll still work out. And that's it. They only had 8. They only had 8 players in the game, according to the box score. So we'll just go with 8. Okay. And so we're going to do the same thing. We have all the players in the game. And Tony, oh, thanks. Thank you, Tony. You bought player game basketball a couple years ago. You need to get out. Yeah, this is fun. This is fun. All you do is you get your lineup, you put in your score, you match up how many rolls with the target score, and you factor in defense and home court, and then you're off and rolling. It's kind of fun. All righty. So the target score is 22. As you can see, they have 3 less rolls than San Antonio because they're a 15-68 basketball team. However, they have a chance to bump it up if I can get an 8 or less on this 10-sided dice. And the 0 is always 0, except for the top guy, which is 10, and I'll talk about that later. So I got a 2. So we're going to bump up that 22 to 23. So their target score is 23, okay? So what we need to do, we need to add these up, and we need to get to 23, even if we have to make adjustments. Okay, so let's get this out of the way. And so we have 4, 6, 9, 12, 14, 16, 17, 20. So let me add that up again. I'll go the other way. So 4, 6, 8, 11, 14, 16, 20. So we have a 20. So what we need to do, we need to add 3 to get it up to 23. These have to be the same. So I'm going to roll 3 dice, and I'm going to go 1 to 8. Any 0s or 9s I will just ignore. So we're going to try to figure out who we're adding or we're adding from. Okay, so of course I rolled 2 zeros. I'm going to ignore that. And 1 and a 7. So 1, 3, and 7, we're going to add 1. So Burden is +1. 3, Wise is +1. And 7, Govan is +1. All right, so now we have 5, 2, 4, 3, 2, 2, 2, and 3. So if I add this up, 7, 11, 14, 16, 18, 20, 23. You see what we did there? We made adjustments to get this 20 to 23 so that matches up because that's our target score. And what we're doing is we're breaking down the individual roles by player. That's what we're doing. Okay. Let's look at home court advantage and defense. Okay, let's start with defense. So Virginia's defense is 5, which means we're adding 5 to the other team. So we're going to put 5 right here on San Antonio. And the San Antonio defense is 0, so there's no adjustments. So there'll be no, when I slide this over here, there'll be no defensive adjustments because there is 0, but we will be adding 5 over here. In fact, we can probably do that. We'll do that in a minute. Let's just get the initial rolls. Now, home court advantage for Virginia is 2 minus 2. Okay, and what that means is it's going to be 2 for Virginia and minus 2 over here. All right, so 2 and minus 2. So that's just going to be how many points we subtract. And there are a few other things in here. There is a control and a pace and all. I don't use any of that really. I just don't. I just kind of go with the simple route. So, alrighty. So the setup is done. We start rolling. We make our adjustments, and we have our final score. So what do you think? My new drink, the Orange Cream Zero Coca-Cola. We bought it for the party, and I says I'm gonna have to have one tonight to try it out. So, sorry, I haven't been looking in the chat room here. I've been kind of trying to set this up, but thanks for everybody coming by. Okay, so here's how we play it now. We start at the bottom and work our way up. Okay, and because these guys don't have 2, I'm gonna start. I always start with the visitors, so I need to get this guy, and this guy. So I need to go 10, 9, and 8 points, and then I'll come back over here and I'll tell you why. So let me roll the dice. All right. So Smith gets 1 roll, and again, zeros right now is 0. So I rolled a 0. Okay. So Ken Smith contributes absolutely nothing. So let's go to Carl. I got a 2. So Carl gets a 2, and now Ward gets 1 roll. And he gets nothing as well. So it's not looking good for San Antonio, okay? So what you do is you're supposed to alternate, but because these guys only had 8, I needed to get up to the 8, and now I will alternate. So now I'll go to Newman over here, and he has a roll of 3. So I will take all 3 dice, okay? Actually, I could probably put it right here so we can kind of all see it. It'll make a little bit of noise, unfortunately, but all righty. So a 0 is terrible. And we have 9 and 4. So we have 13 points over here. So Newman chips in with 13 points. So that's pretty good right now for Virginia. Okay, so now let's go back over here. And Dietrich gets a roll of one dice. 1. Oh my gosh, this could be a Virginia upset. Govan gets 2. Oh, 14. Wow, look at this. Look at this. So right out of the gate, the bottom guys have contributed 27 points over here. Now, I know they're only getting 1 roll, but they've combined for 3 points. They've rolled a couple of zeros. So, yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to add all these up, and that's going to be our total. And I right now, Virginia's looking good. Okay, so now we move up to our next guy. So it's going to be, figure it's like the inning. This is the top of the 6th, and then we go to the bottom of the 6th. So Bristow, who needs Bristow? He's going to get 2 dice here. Ooh, 18. That's the best you can get. So he gets 18 points. So Bristow had a very, very good game. Now we're going to come down here to Twardzik. Is that his name? Twardzik? Twardzik. When I post this, I'll correct it. 3, not good at all. Only 3. Now we come up in Obelding. Do you like Ovaltine? He's going to roll 2. 10. That's pretty good. That's like right down the middle. That's a 5 and a 5. Fatty Taylor. Let's see what Fatty Taylor contributes. 4. Oh boy. So now the Virginia bench played well, but their starters not so well. 4 dice now for Paltz. Again, he's got the 4. So now we get into the heavy duty guys, right? So we have 7, 8, 9, 15. So Paltz gets 15 points. Jackson gets 3. So we have a 7 and 7. That sounds like a drink. 14. And we go up here to, who's that? Kennan? Can't read my own writing here. Lar Kennan. Yeah, Lar Kennan. He's going to get 4. And so we have 5 and 8 is 13 for Kenan. And then Wise gets 4. Again, he started with 3, but because we had to adjust him up, he gets 4. So what do we have here? We have 2, 5, 9. Again, crappy rolls from the starters. Now we get 5 here. Garvin gets 5. So I'm going to bring in a 5th die. And we're going to give him 5. So 5 and 5. Oh, that's a 7, huh? Oh, so 5, 6, 13, 19, 22. Is that right? So 10 and 12 is 22. So 22 for Garvin. That's pretty good. So they're making a comeback. Jan Bread Kolf, he only gets 2. And he gets 4 points. So I think they're kind of crap in the bed here. And the last guy is Silas. Now, the top guy, if you get a 0, it's 10. This is the only guy with a 0 becomes a 10. So he's going to get 4 dice. And, oh, he does have a 10. Look at that. So we have 10, 18, 21, 26. Is that right? So 8 and 6 is 16. 8 and 8 is 16, and 10 is 26 points. Right? 26 points, if I did that correctly. 8 and 8 is 16, and 10 is 26. And then this guy gets 5. So Burden, who is Luther Burden, he gets 5. And he also gets the 0 as 10 because he's the top guy, but he didn't get it. So we have 10, 17, 18, 22. Right? 22. So we have 10, 21, 22. So he gets 22. All right, so that's our initial roll. What we need to do now is we need to look at the home court advantage and the defense. So we got to subtract 2. Subtract 2 points. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll 2 dice, and those are the guys we're going to subtract 1 from. And if it's the same guy, we'll take out 2, but they can't have less than 0. So we have 6 and 5. So here's 5 and here's 6. Okay, so these guys did get points. So we can for home court, so we can subtract 1 and subtract 1 from person 5 and person 6. Okay, and so we'll do the same down here. So the home court, we're going to add 2. So we're going to roll the dice here, ignoring 9s and 0s. So of course I get a 0. So I got 4 and that was a 4. So I got 4 and 7 are going to get 1 for the home court advantage. So 4 is Jackson, so +1, and 7 is Govan, +1. So again, why I did that is because I had a 2 for home court, and the visiting team was -2. The last thing is the defense. So the defense for Virginia was 5, meaning I'm adding 5 to these guys. So I will put that here on the defensive side. So I'm going to roll all 5 and see which guys that I add 1 point to. Ooh, look at that. So let's start at the top. So I have a 2 here. Get these out of the way. So 2, this guy here. So he's going to get +1. So the 2 is done. 7 gets 1. 9 gets 1, and 10 gets 2 is how I play it. So that is my 5 here for defense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now what I do is I will add up the totals. So 26 with no adjustment is 26. 22 plus 1 is 23. 13, no adjustment. 15, no adjustment. 10 minus 1 is 9. 18 minus 1 is 17. 1 plus 1 is 2. 0 plus 1 is 1. So he must have got a free throw in there. And so this guy here is 2 plus 2 is 4. And this guy is a 0 all the way across. Okay, so let me get up my calculator, because I'm not going to do this in my head, that's for sure. And let me add up what we have for a total here. And I did have a spreadsheet that did all this, But I decided that I'm just going to do it on the calculator here. 26 plus 23 plus, oh boy, I always screw that. 26 plus 23 plus 13 plus 15 plus 9 plus 17 plus 2 plus 1 plus 4. That's going to give me 110. So a very low-scoring ABA game here, probably because all these guys here didn't contribute much at all. Let me try this one more time from the bottom. 4 plus 1 plus 2 plus 17 plus 9 plus 15 plus 13 plus 23 plus 26 equals 110. All right, so we're on with that, 110. So 110, that's the number we need to beat for Virginia. So the defense is 0, so there'll be no adjustments. The home control, we've already said +1, so we can start looking here what we need to do. So the 22 is no adjustments, is 22. 4, this is terrible here for your second guy, so he gets a 4. Again, a 9 stays a 9. 14 plus 1 is 15. A 4 remains a 4. A 3. 14 plus 1 is 15, and 13. Boy, they're going to get smoked here. I thought they were doing pretty good, but I think they're going to get smoked. So 22 plus 4 plus 9 plus 15 plus 4 plus 3 plus 15 plus 13 equals 85. That's what I have on my table. They were doing pretty good with here, right? But they ran out of steam. So their 23 rolls were terrible. Let me just kind of do it from the bottom. 13 plus 15 plus 3 plus 4. That's what the killer is, those 3s and the 4s. Plus 15 plus 9. That 4 hurts. Plus 22 equals, 85. So that is my final score. It is the favorites, the San Antonio Spurs, 110. And Virginia Squires 85. So much different than the actual game in real life, which was 141 to 122. So we missed the mark by about 20 points each here just because of the bad rolls that I did. So now let's find out the rebounds and the assists, okay? And so let's start with San Antonio. And so what it tells you to do, this is kind of easy. Yeah, the Spurs did a pretty good job here against the Virginias. So everybody's got a rebound and assist number. So you roll 10-sided die and either add or subtract for that to get your rebounds and assists. Alrighty, so we're going to roll this here. So the first guy on the table is not Mabel. It is Silas. So Silas is -2 and 0. So we got, that's a 3 minus 2. So it'll be 1 and 6. So he had 1 rebound and 6 assists. Gervin now is 1 and -3. So he's 1 and 5. The next guy here is Kenan, 6 minus 4. So we have 6 and 2 is 8 and 5. Again, 9 minus 4 is 5. The next guy is Paltz. Paltz is 5 minus 1. So he's got 8 and 1. Oberding, 1 minus 4. So he gets 8 and 0, because a 4 minus 4 is 0. Bristow. Who needs Bristow? Bristow is -2, -3. So that stays a 0, and he'll get 2. And now Dietrich, -1, -4. So 5 and 0. Henry Ward, -3, -5. So 0 and 2. Carl, -5, -2. So he's 0 and 0. And Smith is -4, -5. Oh, so he'll get 5 rebounds, but no assists. So those are my stats. So when I go to put them together for my project, I have my total points and my rebounds and everything for this guy. All right, so let's check now with Virginia. All right, look at their points here, their rebounds. So we'll start with Burden, -3, -4. So he'll be 0 and 1. Jana Bredikoff, 0 minus 3. So, oh boy, stays a 0. And it'll be 2. Willie Wise, 2 minus 4. So he'll be 5 and 0. Michael Jackson, minus 2 minus 4. So 2 and 7 is 9, and 0 minus stays 0. Fatty Taylor, a minus 1, 0. Ooh, that's pretty good. So he'll have 8 and 9, 8 rebounds and 9 assists. Twardzik, minus 3. So he'll be 5 and 0. Govin, 1 minus 3. So we got 9 and 6. And the last guy is Newman, and he's minus 3. And so he'll be 0, 4. So that's it. That is how you play player of the game basketball. I like it because I don't need to know anything about basketball. It plays pretty quick. I remember when I played it years ago, I was like, it just doesn't feel like a basketball game. But now I enjoy it. It is a math equation. But I like math and it's fun. And I got my final score and my stats here. And that is that. So hope you enjoyed it. And Jay Marnon's watching while his wife drives. Well, I'm hoping that she's not leaning over on the wheel steering while you're looking at the phone while you're behind the wheel. I hope not. But anyway, so if you like rolling dice, pull out 5 or 6 10-sided die and play some play of the game basketball from Downey. They have a whole bunch of seasons available. It's not that expensive a game. Again, it's print and play. And so I just bring in the PDFs. I drop in the logos and when I print them out. I like them. I like having the logos on my PDFs. And so I've played a couple of games here of the product. So I'm going to go post my scores. I got to create my my score sheet in Excel so I can have it nice and clear so the guy can put in the stats. And that is that. So I kind of hope you enjoyed this one here. So anyway, I'm going to go grab something to eat. And I think Jucket's on tonight, so I'm not sure if I'm coming on. Jucket usually comes on Tuesday nights. I usually work Tuesday nights, but tonight I'm off. So one way or another, we'll either see you early or see you late, something like that. But anyway, thanks for stopping by here on this late afternoon in the holiday season. And we'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.